Hello, welcome to meetregister.com, your state-of-the-art online track and field and cross-country registration system. Today we will be discussing on how to enter your athletes into a track or cross-country meet. First and foremost, you must create a team roster account and add your athletes to that roster, or create an unattached athlete account and then add your unattached athlete. If you're not sure on how to do this, then view our Create an Account video tutorial. Once your account has been created and athletes have been added to your roster, you must then log into your account. For demonstration purposes, we are currently logged in as High Desert Heat Track Club, which is displayed in the upper right hand corner. Now, to enter a meet, you must search out the meet in which you want to enter simply by clicking Enter a Meet. And what you'll see is a list of track meets that are available for you to enter. For this demonstration here, we're going to enter this particular meet called Test Meet. We simply click on the blue bar, it opens up, then we sit here and we click on Enter this meet. Now, what we have here, our taskbar here, we have divisions, athletes, overview, standard, metric, and save. To enter your athletes into an event, you first click on the Divisions tab, and what you will see here is a list of available divisions in which to enter your athlete. And on this example here, we are using Standard USA Track and Field Youth Divisions. So let's click on a division. We'll start with the Sub-Bantam Boys division. What happens is your Sub-Bantam Boys roster will appear on here, and a list of available events that your athletes can enter. You have your division rules: 3 events per athletes, 2 teams per relay, 1 relay alternate allowed. Now, to add your athletes to any of these events, you just simply click on their name and drag them to that event. Click on the next athlete's name and drag them to this event. If I was to try to enter Christian Neal into the same event, we'll get an error, and it'll tell us this athlete is already entered the event. And so what we do is simply take him and drag him to the trash to get rid of him. Okay. Another way to enter an athlete in an event, notice that the 100-meter bar is highlighted in green. Just simply double click on an athlete. Double click on this athlete, double click. If I want to enter multiple athletes in the 200 meters, highlight the 200 meters and just double click, and they simply pop up into that particular event. Once your athlete is entered into the event, you simply, in order to enter your entry mark, you just click on that athlete's name and your entry mark time box comes up. And let's just type in, for this particular athlete, 15 for his 100-meter times. You click Save. Notice the entry mark stays there. We click on this athlete and click Save, and their entry marks are in. Once all athletes are in and you have entered their entry mark, you simply click Save Changes and click Save, and it tells you that it has been saved. These athletes are now entered into the events. These athletes have their entry marks. Of course, we didn't enter the entry marks for these other athletes. If you want to switch to another division, you just click on Divisions, and let's go, for this case here, let's go to Midget Girls. Click on Midget Girls, and now the Midget Girls athlete box will appear. And the process is the same. We click and drag, or we can simply double click. Okay? Then we'll click Save Changes once we do. And again, to enter an entry mark, we just click on the athlete's name and type in their entry marks. And click Save. Okay? Notice it tells us to save changes every time we make a change, so we'll save it. You can save changes right away or wait till you finish and save. Okay? Now let's enter our athletes into a field event. Let's take the long jump. Okay? Let's take this particular athlete and drag him to the long jump. Now, when we enter our entry mark here, before that, if you notice, we had to scroll down to get to the long jump, which takes our top bars off the screen. Well, we can solve that by simply clicking on the box and dragging it up to the top. So in this case here, we took long jump, click and drug it up to the top so that we can see what's happening up here. Okay. Now to enter an entry mark here, we simply click on the athlete's name, and let's say she's jumping 15 feet 9 3/4 inches. Once that happens, you just simply click save, and notice her entry markers here, 15 9 3/4. Notice that standard is highlighted. Let's click to metric. Once we click to metric, notice that her entry mark has now switched to metric, and if we click on it again, we'll see that it's now 4.82 meters. We can adjust that. We can go 5.10 meters and click save, and we have our entry mark entered as metric. If we want to view it as standard, we come over here and click standard, and it's now converted to standard, 16 feet 8 3/4. Once that's done, we simply click save changes. Our changes are saved. Relays. Let's enter our athletes in the relays. Since our relays are way down here at the bottom, we'll just simply click and drag them and bring it up to the top so that we can still see our information here at the top. To enter an athlete in a relay, again, you can either double click, first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. Once we get all four in one relay, our B relay shows up. And we double click, double click, double click, double click. There's our B relay. Now if we wanted to add a third relay, we can again either drag them. We have an error message, so there's a maximum of 2 teams. We can 2 teams entries per relay. So in this particular case here, I cannot put a third relay team in. So I'll just take them and drag them out. This is what the Meet Director has set up for you. So in order to enter entry mark, we click on entry mark, and then we'll go ahead and enter our entry mark and click save. You can enter the entry mark for this team here and click save, and these are our entry marks. Once we have our relays here, we can rearrange any order that we want. We want to put this person to the third leg, or take this person to put them to the first leg. It's very easy to do. Just click and drag and to put them in their position, and then we'll click save. When you see the red save changes, that means we have to click save. Now, once that's done, we have our overview tab here, and you can just get a brief overview of the events of the athletes that you've entered into their events. Midget boys, Bantam girls, youth girls. These are the athletes that are entered into these particular events. We can close that, and once that's done, you're basically finished. Your athletes are entered into the meets. Now one of the things you can do is you can come up here to meet entries, click on that, and select the meet in which you entered. And what this will do, once you're logged in, it'll give you a list of all of the entries for all of the meets in which you've entered. In this particular here, we were entered into test meets. So we'll click there, and we have our entries. Youth girls, 100 and 200, 100 meters, 200 meters, 200 meters, 200 meters. Janae O'Neal, 100 and a 4x100 relay. And once you have your list of entries, you can now click this button, print, save, send. It pops up a new window, and from this window you can either click print this page and it'll print out. You can save this page as a PDF file, or you can send an email by type in your subject, and then of course type in an email address, and click send to actually send those entries to a coach, friends, family, or whoever. And then you can close out of there. And now that concludes our Enter a Meet tutorial. Thank you for considering meetregister.com.